Everyone knows Santa Claus, a cheerful old man, a red suit, a white beard, flying reindeer, a symbol of joy, childhood, and Christmas itself. We see him everywhere in movies, in songs, in shop windows, and in family traditions passed down for generations. But the image we recognize today didn't appear overnight. So here's the question almost no one asks. Who is Santa Claus really? Was he always just a symbol of joy? Or is the figure we know today the final version of a much older story? A story shaped by history, belief, and myth. To understand Santa Claus, we have to go back long before the North Pole, long before reindeer, and long before Christmas as we know it. Lived a man named Nicholas of Myra. He was not a king, not a magician, not a myth. Long before Saint Nicholas, winter already had its own gods. In northern Europe, ancient Germanic tribes celebrated Yule, a midwinter festival tied to the winter solstice. At the center of these beliefs stood Odin, the All-Father. Odin was depicted as an older man with a long white beard, riding through the sky during winter on a supernatural steed. Children would leave offerings for him. In return, Odin would bring gifts or punishment. Sound familiar? As Christianity expanded into pagan lands, it didn't erase these beliefs, it absorbed them. Saint Nicholas slowly merged with local winter spirits, folklore figures, and ancient gods. The result? A hybrid figure, part Christian saint, part pagan sky traveler, a figure no longer bound to history, but to imagination. The next major transformation happened centuries later across the ocean. In the 17th century, Dutch settlers carried their traditions to the New World, bringing with them old beliefs, old customs, and old stories. Among them was Sinterklaas, the Dutch version of Saint Nicholas. Every December, children awaited his arrival. Gifts were given, stories were told, but in the New World, traditions began to change. Languages mixed, cultures blended, and slowly Sinterklaas took on a new name. Sinterklaas became Santa Claus. For decades, the figure remained loosely defined, more tradition than character, more memory than myth, until the year 1823. That year, a single poem would reshape everything. A visit from Saint Nicholas, better known today as "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," did something no story had done before. It gave Santa a sleigh. It gave him flying reindeer. It gave him a cheerful, almost magical personality. Most importantly, it turned him into a supernatural visitor, a figure who could travel the world in a single night. From that moment on, Santa Claus was no longer tied to history. He was becoming mythology, rewritten for a new world. And America didn't just accept this new version. It made him its own. The 19th and early 20th centuries changed Santa Claus forever. This was the age of industry, mass production, and modern media, and Santa Claus was pulled directly into it. Artists, writers, and publishers began shaping his image, giving form to a figure that had existed for centuries without a fixed appearance. One illustrator, Thomas Nast, played a crucial role. Through his drawings, Santa Claus gained a home at the North Pole, a workshop, and a growing army of elves who worked year-round to produce gifts. At the same time, cities were changing. Department stores appeared, toy factories expanded, and Christmas slowly shifted from a religious celebration into a commercial season. Santa Claus stood at the center of it all. He appeared in advertisements. He welcomed children in store displays. He became the friendly face of holiday consumption. This version of Santa no longer belonged to the church. He no longer belonged to folklore. Santa Claus was becoming something entirely new. He was becoming a brand, a symbol carefully shaped by images, repetition, and profit. But this transformation was not yet complete, because one final reinvention would define Santa Claus as we know him today, and it came from an unexpected place. Contrary to popular belief, Coca-Cola did not invent Santa Claus. The figure already existed. The stories were already there. But in the 1930s, something changed. Coca-Cola did what no one had done before. They perfected him. Through a series of holiday advertisements, Santa Claus was given a consistent, recognizable form, one that could be understood instantly anywhere in the world. The red suit became standard. The white fur trim became iconic. The serious, mysterious figure of earlier centuries was replaced with a warm smile and human expressions. This Santa was friendly, approachable, almost familiar. More importantly, he felt real. These images were printed on posters, magazines, billboards, and calendars. They crossed borders, they crossed languages, and slowly they entered homes around the world. From that moment on, Santa Claus became universal, no longer a regional tradition, no longer a local legend, but a single image, a single story, a single myth shared across cultures. In the process, something ancient was transformed. A saint became a spirit, a god became a mascot, history became memory, and yet the myth survived, stronger than belief, stronger than religion, because by then, Santa Claus no longer belonged to the past. He belonged to everyone. So, who is Santa Claus? He is Saint Nicholas, the humble man who gave gifts without being seen. He is Odin, the ancient god riding through the winter sky, bringing both wonder and awe. He is a creation of poems, paintings, and advertising, shaped and reshaped by centuries of culture. He is proof that myths do not simply disappear. They adapt, they evolve, and sometimes they become something far greater than the original. Santa Claus is not just a story told to children. He is not merely a figure in a red suit. He is something far more powerful, a symbol humanity chose to keep alive because he represents generosity, hope, and kindness, even in the darkest, coldest times of the year. He reminds us of the simple act of giving without expectation, of the joy that comes from believing in something larger than ourselves, and of the magic that endures across centuries, cultures, and continents. And perhaps that is why, no matter how much the world changes, no matter how traditions shift, no matter how old myths are forgotten or rewritten, Santa Claus never truly disappears. He lives in our stories. He lives in our hearts. And in a way, he continues to give quietly, invisibly, and endlessly, just as he always has.